Okay, so here's our first section. This is called Madre de los Gatos. My students all know that I'm a very curious person, and one of the things that I get curious about is when I find a piece of music and I look it over and I'm literally like playing the notes in my head, but for some reason this song was just, it was one of those songs where it was like, ah, I'm not sure what's happening here. And in any piece of music that you have, the conductor works out of what's called a score. And the score is basically every single part on several pages. So that's why you see me flipping these pages so often, because I'm literally watching the entire song on this paper, and it moves very, very quickly. But this one, I couldn't quite get a handle on it, so I started doing some research, and over the summer I had re-scored the piece, and I was very hesitant at first to introduce it to the band because it's not a typical band piece, and it's based on a piano work that was done by a pianist named Morton Gould in, I believe, 1939 was when he wrote this, and it was scored for band by an arranger named David Bennett, who later went on to score some really famous works in the big band and swing era. So I was curious to see what this would sound like with our band, and lo and behold, these amazing musicians kind of caught on to the song, and in my vernacular, as corny as this song is, it's still very enjoyable. So this is something called the Prima Donna. It's corny, but it's a fun song. So one of the things that was really popular over the last year or so, especially like again during the lockdown, during the pandemic, we all got our Star Wars on, and one of the series that really just kind of like resurrected the whole genre for me was The Mandalorian. When that came back on, thought it was extremely well done. But if you close your eyes and listen to the music, it's incredibly unique music because it tips the hat to John Williams, who's the gentleman who wrote all of the classic Star Wars themes that we know, and kind of brings it forward into a bit of a modern sound. And so we would like to perform it for you, the theme from The Mandalorian. All right, finally, this is going to be our last number for the evening, and this is something that I don't get to do very often, and that is hand the baton over to a student. So this is Charlie Lee. He was our drum major this year for our district band that we put together called the 78th Regiment. And Charlie was such a phenomenal, not only drum major, but he also had to play a character as the drum major. And he did such a wonderful job of that he really found himself being drawn into the drum major world, and was very recently named the drum major of the Gold Drum and Bugle Corps. So the last piece that we're going to do is actually one of Charlie's favorite pieces from his middle school days, and I've actually had several requests from students to bring this song back, and so it is with absolute pleasure that I hand the baton over to Charlie. And he's going to be conducting a piece called Into the Storm by Robert Smith.